Welcome to the Aloe and Luna channel. On today's video, we're gonna go ahead and unbox 22 different Gothic Kalita and Dark Academia blind boxes. I know on my channel, I always show super cutesy and adorable figures, but I'm also a big fan of Dark Academia and Gothic themes as well. One thing you will notice is usually these are a lot harder to get and they're a lot easier to get if they're not blind for some of these series. So you'll notice for this video, none of these are blind boxes to me, but I still wanted to show you all of the different types of brands and themes and characters that have a theme that isn't really set on just being cute and maybe have a little more grit to them. And you can see we only have 12 different series here, but I do have some duplicate of some series like Emma Poetry, our Fairyland Elves from 52 Toys, our Winnie series from Suplay, and then I just have a second one for this cute rabbit series. So let's go ahead and get into unboxing. We're gonna start with the ones where we have multiple for this series. But let's go ahead and jump into our Fairyland Elves series from 52 Toys. And this is part of the Sleep Fairy series that 52 Toys does. I recently unboxed a bunch of the sea-themed ones, which were very pastel and ethereal and dreamy. These ones are a bit more gritty. There is some hidden editions you'll see, and we do have some more pastel-y ones in this series, but I only picked up the more darker themed one. So let's go ahead and have a look at our first one. And this is one of the coolest ones. I really love this one. It looks like the head comes separately. So we have the body, and the body for this one is actually going to be flocked, which I thought was amazing. Wow, look at that. And then we have the head separately, and the head is kind of a devil girl. I love the hair for this one. It is super awesome. And the colors for this figure are just so amazing. And it looks like the card for this series doesn't have the name, but this one is Death. And I think this might be one of my favorite figures we'll see in the video. I love anything with flocking, so I especially love this one, but I just love all the intricate details. I do know for this series, some people were having issues with getting them to stand, so I'll test it out at the end of the video. What do you think about our first Fairyland one? I think it definitely fits the theme. And let's go ahead and have a look at our second box. 1, 2, 3. Oh, look at this one. It looks like the whole series doesn't come with their heads attached. That's so weird. But this is the one that is kind of mermaidy sea creature. I really like the look of this one as well. And here's a look at the card for the Hierophant. This one is beautiful. I didn't even know that these horn details were flocked. This one is definitely kind of leaning over to the pastel side, but I really like that mix of our metallic dark purple with that pastel hair. This one is just really interesting. The details on this one are incredible. I definitely think this series will probably be the series with the most details. There's just so much going on this figure, and it is so beautiful. And we have one more box of these before we have a look at a different series. Oh, this one is one of my favorites as well. I'm so excited for this one. And for this one, the head came attached. And this is the Hanged Man. And here is our card for the Hanged Man. What do you think about this one? I think it has such nice details as well. Ooh, I really love that deep red color. And this one has, I think, like a tail. Or no, that's a chain. We do have a tail here. But this is like a chain with some clear vinyl detail. And I think the poses and the fluidity of the motions just really contribute to a really beautiful figure. This one is so pretty. I really love it. It does have a lot of black on it, so some of the details don't pop as much as the others. I absolutely love the design for this series. There's just so much to look at. And I really appreciate 52 Toys going with such an interesting and different theme. And here's a look at 3 out of the 4 we have for the Fairyland Elves series. I'll unbox the last box with the others. But I think this is a really fun, dark series. And I think for our next series, we're going to have a look at Emma poetry. Emma's series usually aren't that gothic or dark academia, but this series had some really interesting figures that were definitely a bit more darker and intriguing than other ones. But these might not 100% fit the theme as well as other ones, we'll see. So let's have a look at our first dark poetry box. And these boxes got really beat up. All right, let's see who is inside this one. 1, 2, 3. Oh, this is another flocked figure. I love this one. And here is the card for the figure. This one is called Burn, and it does have a line of a poem here. My candle burns at both ends, and it won't light all night. And this is from the poem The First Fig. Hopefully that's kind of accurate. I'm using Google Translate. But what do you think about this figure? I love how it's like a moose with 2 flames on the antlers. And I really love this dark green. I don't know how well it's showing on camera, but it's a beautiful emerald green. And I love the dark detail for this. Any figure that's flocked is really awesome in my books. I really liked that first one. I think that's a really nice change for Emma. I don't know how popular this series was compared to other Emma series, but I really liked that one. Let's see what the second one is that I got. 1, 2, 3. And even though this one is really light in color, I thought it was a really fun one to show because it's kind of a bit spooky with our clear vinyl and our little ghost puppet. And this one is called Snow Dust. My originally depressed mood was changed by the falling snow. And this is from Robert Frost, and I believe the poem was called Snow. And I don't know about you, but I think every goth kid loves Robert Frost. I'm not a huge poetry fan, but I do really love Robert Frost poems, and this figure is beautiful. Of course, the clear vinyl is absolutely stunning, and I do really love the lavender and the white color. Definitely goes with that snow theme. But I do find the little kind of ghost purple puppet thing to be the highlight for this figure. I think it's just really fun. And we do have some metallic details on the ears, which is really cool. And I do believe we have 2 Robert Frost poems featured in this series, so I think I have the other one as well. And it looks like the seller opened this one up from the bottom. So for this one, we can open it up from the top and almost pretend like it's a blind box. I did get this from AliExpress, so you will notice for this series, everything comes in the bag not open, which is really fun because you can still open the bag. So who is in our last one? 1, 2, 3. And this one I thought was the perfect Gothic Lolita one. It definitely has the full Lolita outfit. This one is called Stunning Beauty. And our poem says, between moonlight and snow, you are the third stunning color. And it looks like the poem is also called Stunning Color. And I mean, look at this one. It has such a stunning color. The colors for this one are definitely my favorite, but these beautiful wings in the back are incredible. I really like the bonnet as well. We normally don't see these darker colors with Emma figures, so it's really nice to see them use such beautiful dark rich colors. I think the grayness of our Emma combined with the blue looks so good together, and these wings have such beautiful paint job. The metallic sheen on them is incredible. I just can't stop looking at this one. I think out of our three, this might be my favorite. It's just too bad that the wings are in the back and you can't see them from the front. I love the attention to detail for each individual poem. I think it's so well done. And like our Fairyland series, we will have one more of them. But what do you think about these three? Do you really like this series? I think it's a really fun change for Emma. I love the vibe. I definitely think Stunning Beauty was my favorite out of the three. And our third series, where we have 4 boxes in total, is from Heydolls and Dark Light. And this is from Suplay. This is Winnie Misty Land series. I'm a really big fan of Heydolls, so I'm excited to see what these look like. I did end up getting a repeat for one of them, so we will have 2 of the same figures. I accidentally bought my favorite one twice. Alright, let's go ahead and open this one up. Oh, I'm so excited to see what it looks like. 1, 2, 3. And this is our Plague Doctor one. This was my favorite one from this series because I always loved the imagery of a Plague Doctor. And here's the card. I believe it just says Doctor, but that is a Plague Doctor mask. And this figure is so nice. The mask is actually magnetized onto the face. I love when they have masks like that. It's so much less finicky than having like a strap or trying to angle it on correctly. And this series, most of them are wearing these robes. I really like the clear detail robe. I think it looks very kind of creepy. And this series definitely looks like 1800 kind of style of outfits, very creepy. And here's a look at the mask and the face separately. The mask has so many details, it's so nice. I do think the face for Winnie is pretty basic, but I think for a figure like this, you probably wouldn't display it without the mask too often. And I believe this one is our repeat. I loved the Plague Doctor one so much, I ended up getting it twice. And it looks like for this one, the bag has never been opened and the accessory hasn't been opened either, so I think I won't open this one up. I wish I had a 4th one to show you that was different, because this series is so cool. I would have preferred picking up a completely different one instead of getting a repeat, but I realized too late that I got a repeat. Oh, and here's a look at our second one that is different. 1, 2, 3. Look at this one. This one is incredible and it looks really bloody. And here is the card. I believe this one is the pharmacist. And I think this one is super creepy. The red color is amazing. It kind of looks very similar to the vampire one, which is why I didn't get too many of these because I think they can look a bit repetitive. As you can tell, they're wearing the same robe, so they're not like super unique. They just have little details that are different. But this one is beautiful and so bloody. And the eyes and the face look pretty similar to our Plague Doctor, but this robe is so cool. And I really love this hat. This hat is incredible. I really like the quality and the design for these two. I think they're just that little bit darker than our first 2 series. And this series is pretty big. We have 12 different ones and 2 secrets, so it's a really large series. I really love how these two look together. I can't wait to display them. This is Over the Mountainside Bright Night series from TopToy, and I believe it's also called Bloom. And we only have 6 options and 1 secret, so it's a pretty small series. It's interesting though that it's from TopToy. TopToy does a lot of Sanrio collabs, and this is one of their more darker series. I really liked this one though. I've already opened it up before, and I ended up getting my favorite out of a blind box. It's just really creepy and interesting, so I'm excited to see who I have for this one. And let's open this bag and have a look. And I had to pick up one of the creepy rabbit ones from this series, and we have a bunch of accessories here. And our character is called Respite, and you're supposed to display it laying down, which I think is super interesting. I definitely don't have very many figures that are laying down like this. I love this black rabbit. It is very high shine though, so if you weren't a fan of high shine, this series might not be for you. I think this rabbit is super moody though. I love the expression. I like how it's not happy or smiling. And it has really interesting eyes as well. And then we have our two super small rabbit accessories that you can display beside it. And I really love the dark gray color for these. What do you think about our rabbit? Are you a fan? And now that we've had a look at this series where we had multiple boxes from, let's have a look at these other ones. I'm curious to know which one ends up being your favorite, or the one you think best fits this theme. I think we're gonna start off with this ruby one from MJ's Studio. I don't think this 100% fits the theme, but these were really interesting and not like typical MJ Studio figures. I think they were more gritty princesses, kind of witches, a big kind of sea creature. And the expression on them, I think, definitely goes towards not a super cutesy theme. Although I think the one that I got in this one is probably one of the more cutesy ones. But let's open it up and have a look at this series. All right, 1, 2, 3. Okay, I did end up getting the really pastel one that isn't as dark as some of the other ones we saw on the side. But I just really like this one, and I think this series is all about the expression. And here is our card for our ruby one. It is called Strawberry. So the theme behind this one definitely isn't very gothic at all, but I don't know, I just thought this series really fit in, even though this one is the only really super pink one. And it definitely has the Lolita outfit vibes. Most of MJ's studio characters are the Lolita fashion style. And I just think the face is very sea witch. I don't know. I think this is a cute series if you're not a super fan of the more super cutesy figures that MJ Studio has. I actually really like the non-smiling expression on these ones. And MJ Studio always has amazing quality. There's just something about these ones that just makes me think of Ursula and kind of that sea witch stereotype. Maybe definitely more cutesy than most of the figures we're going to see in this video. And I think next, let's do our Zara Tarot card one. I was a really big fan of this series. We have 9 options. One of them's an alternate colorway, and then we have a secret edition. I already have this one from this series that I got from a blind box, and I really liked it. So I'm really excited to show you one of my favorites from this series. Let's go ahead though and open up my second one. I got one of my favorites from this series, so I'm excited to show you. And who do we have inside? 1, 2, 3. Wow, this one looks even more beautiful in person. And here is our card. This is the Hermit. For this series, everything is named and themed after a tarot card. I really love the theme of a tarot card, and the Hermit and the Death Tarot card are my 2 favorite. Anytime there's a blind box series that has a tarot theme, they're always the coolest. Although I think most people wouldn't be excited to get them if you're having your tarot read. But look at this stunning figure. I love the purple, and the metallic paint is stunning. This series has so much detail. I love the back of it. Everything about this figure is just so well done, and it has such a nice weight to it. This is definitely a big figure compared to other series. And there's just something about the coloring that I really love. Again, I always seem to be drawn towards the hermit. I'm so excited I was able to pick this up because this was one of my favorites from this series. This is just such a stunning figure, and I think the tarot theme goes so well for Dark Academia. And the eyes for this figure are so cool. I just love that butterfly with the metallic paint as well. It looks stunning. I'm really hoping I can pick up Death in the future. It's one of my favorites from this series. I also really like the High Priestess. Yeah, I'm really hoping this is the next one I pick up. And who should we do next? Maybe the Lilith one from 52 Toys? This series was really cool. It has an Alice in Wonderland theme, but the character Lilith is one that 52 Toys does a lot, and they basically just mesh it with like a movie or a story, and I think that is really cool. I've opened out this series before on my channel, so I'll link to that video because I do have, I think, around half of these already, but I picked this one up and I'm really excited to show you. I think all the Lilith series kind of have that different vibe to them because Lilith is a very kind of a sad figure. 1, 2, 3. And this is one of the Lilith Alices. And this one comes with a bunch of accessories because you're supposed to be able to make the Mad Hatter's Tea Party table. And this one is just the Lilith themed Alice, so it's just called Lilith. And the cards for this series were so cool. I really like this one. I love the pink hair of Lilith with the blue of Alice. And it kind of has that bratty kid vibe to it. But it is a really cute series, and I think all of the Lilith series are kind of gothy in nature. And definitely Lilith's makeup is more on the gothier side. This is a very simple figure though. Not a lot of details, but I love it. And I think next we'll do our Fairy Elves from 52 Toys series as well. So this is our last one from the series. Which one do you think I got out of these options? We have 8 designs and 2 secret editions. All right, let's see which one I got. Oh, I love this one. This one is so cute. I think I prefer the ones we already opened to this one though. I kind of got this one because it definitely had that Alice in Wonderland theme. It looks like the queen from Alice in Wonderland. And here's the card for the High Priestess. This definitely reminds me of the Queen of Hearts from Alice in Wonderland. We have the cage dress, so it's really cool. The feet are just kind of dangling there. And I really like the hair detail. We have that crown, and it kind of almost looks a bit spider webby. It definitely has a regal flair to it. Maybe like one of those bloody queens in Transylvania. And I think next we'll have a look at SUVI, Who Hunts in Heels from Wulou Labs. This series is very interesting and has kind of a deeper message behind all of the different figures. It's kind of similar to SOS Kids if you've seen that series before. I've opened a blind box of this series before, but decided to pick up my favorite from this series. I wasn't a huge fan of this series, so I wanted to make sure I got one that I really loved, and you'll see they come inside of these ginormous pills, which is really interesting. Very different for a blind box. And inside, let's have a look. 1, 2, 3. And I believe I got Gluttony. And here is the card I actually got last, not Gluttony. And I think last is probably the most edgy out of the ones we've opened so far today. I'm sure there's some people who think this figure looks a bit creepy, but I really love it. Our purple and pink eyes look incredible, and I love this kind of devil tail. And I'm really curious what the tattoos on the leg of the figure say. And the hat is really interesting as well. It kind of looks like a nun's hat. I'm not sure if that's the intention, but this figure is really cool, and I love the coloring, the black with the gray and the purple. It just has this really cool vibe to it. The tail kind of reminds me of Mew from Pokemon. I don't know why it's giving me that impression, but my brain goes to Mew. One thing I will say, the head on this is a bit wobbly. It doesn't feel like it's the greatest quality. It does seem a bit flimsy compared to the other figures we've opened up in today's video. I definitely only had a few that I liked from this series, but I'm really happy to have less. And I think we should open up this Misya figure. I actually already have the full series of this, but this is a different colorway, so the figures are the same, but the colors are different. And this series is really awesome. I'll link you to my video if you're curious to see the original colorway. I did have a full case, so I unboxed the full series. And let's go ahead and get into opening this up. I really liked this series. I thought they were a really great quality. And the figures are huge. This is definitely going to be our largest figure from today's video. 1, 2, 3. I just had to get the recolor of the cover one. It is my favorite. And this one does have a heart stand. And here is the cards. I didn't even notice this series was called The Incredible Dance Party. And I'm not sure if I say the name correct, but I believe it's Hakuya. But look at this incredible figure. I love the size for Misya. And the figure is gorgeous. I love our pink beret. We have band-aids on the leg. And it's wearing a very gothic Kalita dress with crosses on it. It just looks really cool. I think if you're a fan of brighter, more vibrant colorways, you'd like this series. I definitely think I'm a fan of the colors for the first series. They're a bit more muted and darker. But this figure is really fun, and I thought this bright pink kind of looked really bloody. The clear vinyl sleeves and just all of the details are really good. These are really good quality figures. This is the only figure in today's video where I have a full series of them, and I highly recommend. I think they are very awesome. And I think maybe next we'll do our rabbit series. I definitely had to pick up a rabbit and another one. So this is going to be the other character from this series. And I'm excited to open this up. I think this series is just so interesting. And this is the weird flower character monster. It's really hard to decide what this is. And we do have a stand that comes with it as well. And here is the card. This character is called Silence. And I just love this figure. It's kind of like a Cthulhu themed flower. And I really love the color. The color is just so vibrant. And this is just such an interesting figure. I'm not really sure about the theming behind this series. I don't think it really matches the name. But this series is just so kind of dark and creepy. It's a bit unsettling. And I really like it. I don't know. I just think it is really interesting. It's really unique compared to other series. And I think we'll do a new series. I think this is called Chomi, and the series is called Lost in Nightmare. I've never opened anything up from this brand before, so I'm really interested to see what the quality is like for this figure. We have 6 options and 1 secret edition. And I think this would have been fun to get this as a blind to see which character we would get. I've actually never seen this blind box available to pick up as a blind box, but I'm a pretty big fan of all the options. I think I would have liked whoever. I saw this one available though, and I just had to grab it. I'm interested to see what it looks like. 1, 2, 3. And I got the cute zombie one. And here is the card for this character. Again, I'm not sure if it's a zombie rabbit, but I really liked it. It definitely isn't as well made as the other ones, but I think this is a pretty indie company. But it definitely is a bit of the cheaper plastic. I really like the details though. And I think the color of it is really cool. It definitely has a Gothic Alita outfit on. And I really like the color of the hair and the skin. I think it looks really cool. I definitely think this one is very cute, even if it's not the quality that I really like. And we don't have very many left. I think we should do our last Emma poetry one and see which one I got for that. For this series, I definitely didn't want to get them as blind because there was only certain figures that I really liked, and the other ones I wasn't too interested in. I definitely think this series, though, didn't get enough love. I thought it was such a cool idea and very interesting figures. But let's go ahead and see who I have for my last box. And I'm excited to see what poem this is attached to. 1, 2, 3. And I had to get this one that is kind of a Pope Moose, maybe an Archbishop. Oh, and this is our other Robert Frost poem. This is from Golden Days. Dawn and dawn last to the day, and the precious as gold is hard to keep for years. And the figure is called Golden Years. And what do you think about this figure? It is a bit interesting how it has all that kind of religious vibe to it. I definitely think a lot of like gothic or kind of edgier figures tend to use a lot of religious symbolism, which is a bit interesting. I don't know if that's your vibe. I'm not religious, so for me, I don't mind it. And I actually think it does lead to the creepy kind of theme. And this figure is beautiful with its clear vinyl moose ears and our golden white detail. It's very elaborate. It has so many details going on. I think these Emma ones are incredible. And if you weren't familiar with this poetry series, I would really recommend getting one. And they have been so different for MJ Studio. I'm curious to know if you've seen the Emma Poetry series before. And we only have 3 boxes left. This has been a really long video, but we're on the home stretch. And this is the Kyla X series. And this is Kyla X, and this series is Asylum. I think this series is really cool. It definitely has a really kind of creepy, dark vibe to it, like a haunted asylum or the asylum of old days. And we have 6 figures and 1 secret edition. And there is a new Kyla X series that's coming out, and I'm really excited to get some blind boxes of it. It's just as creepy as the Asylum one. I really like this character. I'm excited to get more. I've never opened up this character or this brand before though, so I'm really excited to see what the quality is like. And the figure is kind of small, but it's pretty heavy. And let's see what it looks like. 1, 2, 3. Oh, and it is so small and itty bitty. And we do have a stand for the figure and a little book. The book is so teeny tiny. And here is the super cool card. This card is really neat. It looks like a photo negative. I think that is awesome. So unique and such a different card compared to other companies. And our character is called Prey. And as you can see, it is kind of like a praying nun. It's just so different, such a different vibe. And it's so small because it's on its knees. And I really like the makeup details. The purple just pops with this darker kind of navy-ish purple black. I like the face. I know some people might not like the face because it's kind of like a clown face. It's a bit hard to tell in this figure because the eyes are closed. Or it's kind of like a marionette. Maybe it's supposed to be a marionette. The makeup is so beautiful though. And this does feel like incredible quality. I think this figure is really nice. Even though it's more on the small side, I don't think I mind that. It definitely has a big head though. If you're not a fan of figures with big heads, definitely let me know if you want to see a full case of the new series. I'm kind of tempted to get it. And we only have 2 boxes left. Let's do the last box for Winnie. And this is from Heydolls and Dark Light. I'm really excited to show you the figure I have for this. I think I need more of this series though. And this one does open up from the bottom. And let's see who I got. 1, 2, 3. And this one is a witch one. And here is the card for our witch. And I think this one is a bit similar to the Plague Doctor, but I really liked it. It kind of actually reminds me of a high priestess. I'm not sure why this one is called witch. It definitely has the robes like our other high priestess one. But you can see how cool this clear vinyl sleeve is with our hands below. And there's a ton of options with this series. I think it would get pretty repetitive because a lot of them are very similar in terms of the robe and even the hair, but I did get 2 that were pretty much the same color and almost the same robe. But even though the figures have the same base, I love it. I think this is really cool. I'd be really excited to see a second series from this character. And we only have 1 box left. I thought I would leave this one to last. And this series is just so cool. I thought it was so interesting. And you can see all of our possibilities there. They all look really cool. And again, you can see them on the side here. So we have 6 options and 1 secret edition. All right, let's go ahead and open it up. I'm so excited to see this one in person. Ooh, I like the gold bag. All right, 1, 2, 3. And I had to get the pink and purple one. This is the rabbit one, and it kind of looks like a jellyfish. Oh, and that's incredible. Its accessory is a flocked rabbit. And here is the card. It is so awesome. I don't think I even knew this one came with a little accessory rabbit, and it's so cool that it's flocked. This figure is just so unique. It's not like anything else we've opened. And I wonder, oh, I thought you might be able to take off the hat, but you can actually lower it. Oh, that is so cool. I kind of wish Skull Panda had this on their figures. Wow, that looks incredible. What do you think? Do you like it better down or up? Look at how unique this is. This is amazing. This might be my favorite from today's video. Just so unique and such a different vibe. And definitely this does feel a bit like cheaper plastic, but I don't think I mind. There's so many details. And I love the eyes, how they just have nothing going on. They look a bit soulless, just a bit creepy. And the hair is incredible. I love the color for this figure. Wow, this figure is so nice. I think I would love to see this series. I've never seen this unboxed on YouTube before. I saw this figure pop up on a Canadian store and had to pick it up. It's just so unique, but I wish I knew how to get this as a blind box. One thing you'll notice about these series is they're probably going to be hard to find. If you are interested in any of the series I opened up today, I would recommend checking AliExpress. AliExpress will have a ton, and a lot of times you can get them as open like mine are. Or even Kika Goods. Kika Goods usually has a lot more indie brands on it. And I do have a code with them. It's just Luna, and it does save you 10% off. And here's a look at all of the different series that I unboxed in today's video. But what did you think about everything I unboxed in today's video? Did you have a favorite series or character? Do you think I did a good job with the Dark Academia and Goth theme? Let me know. I can definitely do more themed unboxings like this one. I thought this was super fun and such a unique way to check out these series. And thanks so much for watching my Dark Academia Gothic unboxing. I hope you have a great day, and I will see you next week for more unboxings.